Imagine surviving a train crash, a plane disaster, 2 exploding cars, and falling off a cliff, and then winning the lottery. It sounds like something from a movie, but according to one viral story, it actually happened to a quiet music teacher from Croatia. His name was Frane Selak, and for years, the internet called him the world's luckiest, unluckiest man. But when journalists started digging deeper into the story, they discovered something strange. Some parts of his life were real, others were almost impossible to prove. So who was Frane Selak, and how did his story become one of the most unbelievable survival legends ever told?
Frane Selak was born in 1929 in Croatia, back when the country was part of Yugoslavia. By all accounts, he lived a quiet life. He worked as a music teacher, far away from fame or headlines. But according to his own interviews, his life started taking a bizarre turn in the 1960s. That's when the accidents supposedly began, and the first one was terrifying. In 1962, Selak said he was traveling on a train from Sarajevo to Dubrovnik. During the journey, a sudden landslide supposedly knocked the train off a bridge. Several carriages plunged into the freezing Neretva River. Reports say 17 passengers died, but Selak somehow survived. He later claimed he broke a window, escaped the train, and swam to safety. He suffered a broken arm and severe hypothermia, but he lived. For most people, that would be the worst day of their life. For Selak, it was only the beginning. The next year brought an even more unbelievable story. Selak claimed he boarded a commercial flight in 1963. During the flight, something went terribly wrong. A door allegedly opened midair. According to his story, he was sucked out of the plane. While the aircraft crashed, Selak said he survived by landing in a haystack on the ground below. If true, it would be one of the most miraculous survival stories in aviation history. But here's where things get complicated. Investigators later searched aviation records, and they couldn't find any crash matching that description. Which means the most famous part of Selak's story might not have happened the way people think. But the strange events didn't stop there. Over the next decades, Selak claimed to survive several more disasters. A bus crash into a river, 2 separate car fires where his vehicles suddenly burst into flames, being hit by a bus while walking through the city, and in 1996, possibly the most dramatic story of all. While driving on a mountain road, he swerved to avoid a truck. His car smashed through a guardrail and plunged down a 300-foot cliff. But Selak said he was thrown from the vehicle just before it fell. He grabbed a tree branch and watched his car explode far below. When these stories began spreading online, people were fascinated. Some called him the luckiest man alive. Others called him the unluckiest man ever. Because depending on how you look at it, his life was either unbelievably fortunate or unbelievably dangerous. And then something happened that made the story even more surreal. After decades of near-death stories, Frane Selak bought a lottery ticket in 2002. And this time, luck was undeniably on his side. He won around 7 million Croatian kuna, roughly $1 million. After surviving disasters his entire life, he suddenly became a millionaire. But what he did next surprised everyone. Years later, Selak reportedly gave most of the money away to friends and family, then returned to living quietly on his pension. So was Frane Selak really the world's luckiest, unluckiest man? The truth is complicated. The lottery win appears to be real, but many of the dramatic accident stories were never fully verified. Some may have been exaggerated, some may have been misremembered, and some might have simply grown bigger as the internet retold the story again and again. But whether every detail is true or not, Frane Selak became something rare. A modern legend about luck, survival, and the strange stories humans love to share. Because sometimes, the most unbelievable stories aren't the ones that are completely true. They're the ones that are just believable enough to make us wonder.